We are back here at MSG, and we're gonna be here for quite a while, for the whole week basically. So, we had to make sure that we got the proper luggage with us and make sure that we could stay for a good time. Not really a long time, but a good time. And that good time is definitely gonna be rolling on with this game here between two traditional names in college basketball, Georgetown and North Carolina. And this is such an interesting game because now North Carolina has completely changed just about. Their identity over the past 5 seasons, gone. They now have a new identity that they are going to try and actively figure out what it is exactly with this new core of players. And they've gone with the youth movement side of things, as they only have 3 seniors on their roster. Meanwhile, for Georgetown, they're trying to make a push for better results. They brought in quite the graduate transfer class, and it'll be on full display tonight as we get ourselves a classic East Coast showdown. But what's up, everybody? I'm your play-by-play commentator for this game, Commissioner Daniel, and my All-American point guard is back with me at the desk. LSW Commissioner Pike is here with me to witness what could be an underrated game, even though both teams aren't ranked. You don't necessarily have to be ranked to possess the talent needed to win and win big. It just takes a special performance or two to make magic happen. But before we can even talk about that, we got to first see how these teams look in action. Georgetown, of course, returning a bit more compared to North Carolina, and I'd say with the Tar Heels, it's just gonna look completely out of nature when it comes to their brand of basketball. New personnel in, a whole bunch of youth. What do you make of the Tar Heels, partner?
We still have Gus Jackson there at the shooting guard range. Of course, he is one of the top players in this entire team. But of course, you have Roman Zelikov also there. You have Trey Teeter, and then you have KJ Lydeka. But also, is Trey Banks a freshman?
Yes. So everybody in North Carolina's starting lineup is a freshman, besides Gus Jackson, who isn't even a returner. Not even grad transfer. He just transferred from Michigan State.
Oh, so they're starting four freshmen?
Oh, 3 freshmen. Trey Teeter is a sophomore.
I'm about to say, but wow, that is a lineup for North Carolina. So they are going to play full on non-experience, just trying to develop a nice chemistry throughout the season with the young talent that they have, especially with Gus Jackson being the main guy leading the team. That honestly, that's a pretty good idea in my books.
Yeah, get yourself a veteran leader to help lead the way for this young squad as they get acclimated to playing together in what is going to be a tough ACC scene. But what do you make of Georgetown and their experience?
Well, you got to look at the best guy in the team, first of all, at Nick Boyd, who, again, has to go against Gus Jackson. But you also got to look at the height back here. Trey Banks is 6'11". Ian Jackson, the center, is 7'1", a 2-inch advantage over the main guy. But, of course, Danny Wolf, you got to also look at, 7 foot as well.
It's a tall...
very tall frontman.
Yeah, it's a tall front court for the Hoyas. The only non-senior in that starting lineup is Ian Jackson, but everybody else is a senior or they have grad transferred into the program. Nick Boyd, who came over from Florida Atlantic, Danny Wolf, who transferred over from Yale, and Sadiko Ibin Ayo, who transferred over from Iona. and then they got a plethora of experience coming off the bench. But also under the radar is their building of their next core with guys like Jalen Archer and JT Robinson and even Javon Dominguez and Christian Yefsori. Cannot forget about him too. So Georgetown has also been building for the future, but for the most part, their main contributors will be seniors. But with that said, it seems like we are finally ready for tip-off as we are about to get underway once more from MSG.
Beautiful arena.
Considered the mecca of all the sports venues in America, and for good reason. Starting lineups for Georgetown, you got Nick Boyd and Jeremiah McBride in the backcourt. Sadiku Binayo, Ian Jackson, Danny Wolf up front for them. For the Tar Heels, it's KJ Ledeca, Gus Jackson in the backcourt, Roman Zelikov, Trey Banks, and Trey Teeter. I've been so used to saying a certain, I would say, group of names for North Carolina for so long, it felt very out of body to not be saying those names. Guys like Quizis II, Jameer Jones, Dominic Cotton, AJ Mahoney, and of course Willie Jackson, no longer with the team.
But now the future is now, partner.
Indeed it is. Here's Roman Zelikov, 5-star recruit out of St. Petersburg, Russia, tosses it in to Trey Teeter, who finishes that playoff and opens the scoring for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, well, North Carolina, unlike Georgetown, they got to rely on their young talent to try and build up a chemistry here and just try to learn the game as they go on and learn how Smith plays Tar Heel basketball.
Definitely, it's important to learn how he structures his teams and how he structures the play on the court. As I believe that was Trey Banks right there that got his first points as a Tar Heel. Late addition too in the recruiting part of the off season, Trey Banks, and a very valuable addition at that too. He's going to get a lot of opportunities early on as a freshman, as that was Jeremiah McBride. Finally, a starter for Georgetown hits that 2-ball. Now look at this, Trey Teeter trying to work, completely falls short on that first attempt and then hits the backside of the backboard on that shot attempt, so that counts as a turnover.
We've seen teams do that a lot so far this preseason.
They've been doing quite a bit of that as they've been trying to shake off rust, but have been collecting the dust particles off the backside of backboards instead, as Georgetown now leads early on over to Roman. Trey Teeter, that pass is knocked away though. Danny Wolf got in the way of it, and there's Mr. Smith, who is in his, I believe, fourth year, either third or fourth year coaching at North Carolina. It's one of those two. A good pass in to Gus Jackson, and God bless.
Jeez.
Yep, and also I think you're a little bit quiet on my end from what I can hear.
Yeah, it's probably because my mic is a little bit far away, but I think I fixed it.
Okay, bet. And feed runs into a little murmur. And here's the Roman. Gonna be big part of this Carolina program going forward is Ledeca, another 5-star recruit to come through to Chapel Hill, misses that shot. And here's Danny Wolf over to Jackson, but he turns it over.
Yeah, big turnover actually.
Here's Trey Teeter, 2-ball, a little bit too heavy off the backside of the rim. North Carolina hasn't scored in over 2 minutes of play, and it's deflected. Still kept in play though for Nick Boyd. Over to McBride. Screen set. Jackson. McBride gets blocked by Teeter. And you can just see there will be growing pains with this Carolina squad, but as long as they stick together, they can definitely do a lot of growing together. That's a great offensive rebound and tip in by Banks.
Yeah, it's all about experience and development here for this North Carolina team, especially with, like you said, 3 freshmen starting for this team. So they got to come together, and see right there, a little bit of inexperience for Trey Banks.
4-star recruit. A part of that pretty sizable freshman class that North Carolina has brought in is Ian Jackson, sinks that free throw. He himself has been waiting for his turn to finally be a full-time starter. He was able to become that for Georgetown in last year's tournament, where he was able to help them defeat Washington State in the play-in round before being absolutely mauled to death by Florida the next round. And oh, look at that. Interception, and North Carolina is on the move. I'm sure you remember that game when Georgetown gave up 30 points faster than they were able to score double digits.
Yep, I remember that really, really well.
Yeah.
Game was over before it even started.
You're not wrong about that. And this Georgetown team is hoping to not be in that same predicament later on. Transition deep 2 does not go down, and both teams are struggling a bit from the floor. Here's Nick Boyd, though. Bounce pass to a Wolf, and 1 for Danny Wolf.
Wow. They target the freshman of Roman Zelikov there.
They do, and I think we're back to barely being able to hear you, partner.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're very quiet on my end.
Okay, did that fix it?
Only a little bit.
All right, hang on.
There we go. Oh, 3 ball. Hello there. Whose number is 0?
Test.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's better.
All right.
That was.
I just had to mute and unmute my mic.
I got you. Duke Vanilla hit a 3 ball right there for North Carolina. That is the 3-star center who's backing up Trey Banks. Quite the surprising make right there. And oh, whoa, jeez. Gus Jackson tried a quick one on Danny Wolf, but he was ready to swat that one. Still Tar Heel ball, though. Roman's just going to hand this one off. Jackson tries another corner 3. This time, it connects. The former Michigan State Spartan, who actually had quite a amount of big moments in Michigan State's run to the Final Four last year.
Yep.
Look at that pass for Danny Wolf. Big dunk. Ooh. And go ahead with what you were going to say.
Well, remember him being a big contributor into that Final Four run, like you said.
Hopes to bring that experience in a good way. Oh, what a block right there. Oh, but Roman Zelikov will get that one to trickle down.
So far, North Carolina has been really good with the rebounding game on the offense.
They have been. They've been persistent on the boards. Something that I wasn't necessarily expecting so far, as that one is turned over by Georgetown.
Probably what Smith was teaching these freshmen was, hey, I'm a man that wants to play aggressive on the paint, just trying to get as many rebounds as you can.
That's the most important thing. You got to be able to seal out your assignments to be able to clean up the glass on both ends. They've been able to do that pretty well so far. Wolf kind of left open and open enough for a 2-ball. But from what I can see, the philosophy is staying the same in regards to how North Carolina is playing basketball. What a swat and a rejection by Danny Wolf on Teeter. Jackson feeds it, Bean Io with the stuff, and Georgetown is back in front.
Both these teams really showing their aggression on how they play defense at the time. Oh,
Ian Jackson picks up his first foul right there after Duke Vanilla found his way to the paint and needed to be stopped in a non-clean way. So now he'll get a couple free throws. And we see some changes already. Guys like, I'm just going to take a look real quick because we just saw a whole bunch of names come into the game. Pretty sure guys like Javon Dominguez,
Jace Kastner.
Jace Kastner for North Carolina, yeah. He's now in the game. That's a big one. He grad transferred from Iowa State. And he actually played for Coach Smith when he was Iowa State head coach. Remember, he was there for a couple seasons.
Yep.
Georgetown handles that half-court trap well. And pass inside. Oh, what a pass! Another one that links up with Danny Wolf.
And Danny Wolf, that 7-foot power forward down low. The man is, that 4-5 combo of Ian Jackson, Danny Wolf, that 7-foot duo, it's just threatening down low.
But what also is threatening down low is the presence of Trey Banks. Even though he's a tad under 7 foot, he's got the frame to be able to go to war down low and win a good amount of boards.
Yeah, like you said, he may not have the height, but the man can physically play down low, weighing 260 pounds of muscle.
That's a big freshman. That is a big freshman. 3-ball by Banks, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily in his arsenal, but, I mean, I guess you try some things here and there in the showcase.
Yeah, he's a freshman. Learn what you can and cannot do.
Well, you learn it in these types of settings, where the games don't really count, but it's an opportunity to learn and grow with your team as North Carolina continues to thwart Georgetown's attempts on offense. Fadeaway 2-ball, air ball. Goodness. And can't finish through the contact. That was, I believe, Javon Dominguez. And that is a 3-ball unleashed and another miss. I believe you have every single jersey number for the Tar Heels, not necessarily the case for Georgetown, so I'm going to try and identify everybody that is in the game for the Hoyas. Pass down low, Danny Wolf, another shot, this time doesn't go. Now Kastner leading the way. And he gets stripped.
Oh.
Charging down, can't finish the play. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's got to be Jace Archer, or not Jace, Jaden Archer, or Jalen Archer. Excuse me. How did I mess up twice? Oh man. Okay, I think this is JT Robinson right here. Yeah, it is, and that's turned over. Georgetown is having trouble keeping the ball away from North Carolina. Good jumper there by Gus Jackson. But as these teams go along in this game with less than 6 minutes to go until halftime, what do you see from both of these squads and how they perform this year, whether it's in their conferences or in March Madness, if they make it? Like, what do you see for them?
North Carolina is a big question mark for me because, again, very young talent. They don't have the experience that you would say a team should have for a team like North Carolina. But again, it's a very unpredictable team. I don't know. They're definitely going to be maybe like a 7 or 8 seed. I can see it, unless Smith just somehow in some way pulls out one of the greatest years of a freshman class I've ever seen. I see him being like 7 and 8 seed, and then maybe making round of 32 or maybe the round of 64. I don't think. Again, it's all about what Smith can do as a coach and how he develops his team. If his team develops really well, then I could see him maybe making Sweet 16 as a ceiling. But again, it is a very young team, so I don't know. Georgetown is a different story. Really, really heavy on the starting five, and again, their bench may not be as good as what people would think. Honestly, it's actually not a bad bench from what I see here. I see Georgetown as a ceiling Sweet 16 team, and I think they're going to finish about maybe fourth in their conference in the Big East.
That's generous. Oh, that's generous.
Yeah,
no,
I know. I'm being generous. I'm being generous about it. I see somehow in some way Georgetown does it.
Yeah, but then you're gonna eventually have to sort these teams, maybe, and put together maybe a ranking list for each conference. And when you do that, I do not see Georgetown even near your top 4. I just see that.
Yeah, well, who knows what to expect? It is a very unpredictable season coming up next with all these new teams and everything.
It is. And what do you mean has Will Powers played yet? Buddy. 3 ball from the corner. Jace Kastner got it. And Georgetown's still just having trouble keeping possession of the ball. They were at least able to get a shot off, but it wasn't a clean look. And this is the thing I worry about with Georgetown. I think on paper they're a better team than... Oh, what a 3 ball by Gus Jackson. Who I ever have on effing UNC. Buddy. All right, so Killian officially has CTE. You hate to see it.
No wonder why his character's spearing everybody all of a sudden now in the LCW.
That's highly unfortunate. Anywho, here's JT Robinson trying to work his way in. Just a little bit over 2 minutes to go. A good pass in. What a block right there by Ledeca on Wolf. There's 6 seconds on the shot clock, though, for Georgetown.
That's not a lot of time in this situation.
Indeed. But Gus Jackson has been the standout player for North Carolina, absolutely to the surprise of nobody.
Yeah, the most experienced player on the team.
By far. By far, even with the other guys like Jason Kastner and Rocco Muratori on that team. Pass over McBride, quick 3, does not go. Pass out to Kastner, and his 3 gets swatted. Look at that defense and transition by Georgetown.
And a nice dunk there as well. They cap it off.
Sadiko Ibn Ayo has a little flair to his dunk package. And that's almost turned over. Kastner picks it up and drills the mid-range.
It looks like North Carolina is starting to get a little bit sloppy here. Georgetown is playing a really good zone here, cutting off the passing lanes and everything. So now North Carolina has got to adjust to their passing game. Oh, was that an and 1?
Looks like it for Ian Jackson. And Jace Kastner unfortunately got in the way there. Made enough contact for the referees to acknowledge that, and now the 3-point opportunity for Jackson.
Daniel, there's no audio in your stream right now.
Really? No way.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Just wanted to let you know.
Buddy, you're tripping. I'm getting audio from my phone.
I think he's talking about the Discord. If he's some of the Discord stream, then yes.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I just checked. We're good. Audio levels have been good, but thank you still for letting me know. It's worth checking. You know, still. So, and you know what else is worth checking? Where you are on the court, Mr. McBride.
Yes.
And here is Rick Murdoch, another highly touted freshman from North Carolina. They've gone all over the place to get their future talent as Duke Vanilla is going back to the free throw line.
Noticing one thing real quick is Duke Vanilla, the man weighing, again, 260, standing 7'2". The man absolutely is playing aggression like crazy. He's always pushing in, trying to just make contact and drawing fouls. This man has been absolutely stellar so far in that range.
So far outperforming his ranking coming out of high school as a 3-star recruit. And that is exactly what Smith has been hoping for when he did recruit his talents, as he knocks down both free throws, and we have under 40 seconds to go until the break.
Shot clock is still on
for at least this possession, and just a possession. Big block down low as Abinayo tried to go up with it, and Gus Jackson does not get that 2-ball to go down. So Georgetown has some time still.
Yep, plenty of time to try and get a score here with 14 seconds left. They gotta go.
Dominguez over to Archer.
On the right guy.
Finding his way in, can't finish. Grabs his own board, though, as the feed kind of stops right there. Gets the 2-ball to go down. Archer and North Carolina will not have enough time to hoist one up, and we are tied at the break. What is your overall assessment on what we've seen so far from these two teams?
Well, so far, North Carolina, even though they have a very young roster, they've been playing really well against this Georgetown team. Even though it may have not been very pretty, it was a really, really good job there from it. Duke Vanilla, really clutch guy off the bench, 7 points. I will give him credit there. As I believe Vanilla is also a backup center. So the Trey Banks, Duke Vanilla, back and forth between each other, really working out for this Carolina team. For Georgetown, they got to stop turning over the ball. 11 turnovers is unacceptable in one half. So you got to clean up the game.
That's the key. Once they're able to clean up your play on the court, 3-ball by Georgetown does not go to start the half. Once they're able to clean that up, a lot more is going to happen for you in a good way, as we see bodies hit the floor right there. Ledeca knocks down the 2-ball. Not sure what happened there. You just run into somebody? Was tracking the ball, and then I see somebody on their back. Anywho, Nick Boyd working down in the post. You don't see that from 6'3", 175 pounds every day. "15 minutes left in the game. We just got started with the second half, as Roman cannot connect on that mid-range shot. A heavily congested, area that he took the shot from. As McBride finds Ian Jackson, who cannot capitalize on that shot.
And things are starting out cold here. Only 4 points now through a minute and a half, but it is a struggle so far. Never mind. Wide open lane.
A beautiful feed to Gus Jackson. Probably the easiest dunk that he'll have all season. Great setup. And it's tipped away, and look at that. Ledeca capitalizes and lays it in on the transition.
Let's say this right now. Ledeca's been doing a really good job on defensive wise for this Carolina team, especially for a freshman.
He's showing that his 5-star rating has some worth to it. Jackson to McBride. Over to Jackson as he draws the contact on Trey Banks. And the whistle, too.
Big contact there. A good ball placement as well by Georgetown to just force the foul there by Ian Jackson.
First free throw goes for Jackson. And his role is going to be huge on this team as he goes from starting the year as a bench player last year to now being probably the second most important guy for the Hoyas this year. Here's Ledeca, gets the screen from Teeter, drops it off for Trey as he wants to work on Danny Wolf. Passes it up for Banks, and he knocks down the 2-ball. As for Georgetown, they're just continuing the slow, methodical play. This is because we've gotten accustomed to this from Stevens coached teams. And a good finish right there by Ian Jackson. And folks, just as a reminder, we still have a lot more action left in the tank today. As after this game here, we still have Kansas versus Maryland, Kansas State versus Cincinnati, UConn versus Notre Dame, and Pitt versus UNLV. This is all still to come today, not necessarily just throughout the week. We have 3 other days this week that will be featuring games, as our feed has just completely frozen. I hope it didn't like freeze on me. There we go. The good shot right there by McBride as we dealt with a little static there. Battle of Pikeville going to be cinema. I'm looking forward to it. And turnover right there. Yeah, it's a honestly good title by Creed for that game for sure. Oh, Wolf is off on that 2-ball. Which, by the way, that's another ACC versus Big East matchup. Look at Ledeca.
And partner, just another reminder, that's an old rivalry game in basketball.
Yeah, it is.
Notre Dame and UConn used to be major rivals
in the Big East.
Yep.
There once was a time that Notre Dame was in the Big East, and Trey Teeter count that baby in a foul.
And one.
Got a finish by the big guy.
And forced the pressure, forced the foul, and got an and one opportunity.
And he also goes from being a reserve player to now a major starter. So he unfortunately flubs that free throw. Sabbath Creed debut game as well. Yeah, true. True that. Under 12 minutes to go in this game. None of these, or neither of these two have been able to truly separate from each other just yet. McBride, oh, nice, cool, and composed shot right there from short to mid range. And they were looking for Roman Zelikov along the baseline, but again, too many bodies within the paint. And once again, North Carolina coughing it up.
I feel like it was just way too ambitious of a pass, too, especially from that angle to that range.
Well, Wolf tried to finish that play off. There was a bit of contact there, but referees decided it wasn't worth the whistle. Or more like it didn't fully warrant a foul call. Roman Zelikov, corner 3, does not go. Rebounded by Jackson. Once these young guys from North Carolina fully get accustomed to Smith's system, that includes making better passes and not leading Gus Jackson out of bounds. Once they do that, they're going to start they're going to start to really take form as one of the better teams in the ACC. Georgetown, unforced error.
Both teams with unforced errors.
Back to back. It's like I can do you one better. No, I can do you one better. Ledeca 2 ball. Got it. And again, just seeing new faces in these positions. What a pass to unlock that defense. And Danny Wolf finishes with authority.
Man, there was nobody there to cover him.
Not at all. And Ledeca wanted Teeter. But again, hands in the passing lanes is what's helping. And so is just having bodies in passing lanes too. Both teams are not doing a good job with keeping the ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, its zone defense is playing really, really aggressive, but now it looks like that's on the man-to-man coverage. Played perfectly there by Georgetown.
Benayo over to Jackson. The 2 ball does not go down and is rebounded by Teeter.
That time, North Carolina played a little bit of zone defense there. Perfectly played it down, got the rebound, but another pass block.
McBride finishes that play off, and we're tied at 50 apiece.
Left.
Teeter at the elbow. Over to Ledeca. And Roman Zelikov, mid-range shot goes down for him. Been a tight game throughout this entire time as both teams just try to build better chemistry between each other. Big dunk by Jackson. And Ledeca as well, just trying to quickly learn the ropes of how to properly play point guard here at the University of North Carolina. But again, North Carolina just continues to give the ball away. 3 ball goes down for Benayo. Goodness. Ledeca over to Gus Jackson. He hasn't been utilized all that much in this half, and we're seeing the effects of it as another North Carolina turnover happens. Wolf is blocked, though. What defense there by the Tar Heels.
Both defenses have been showing their good defenses here in the second half so far.
A good 2 ball right there by Duke Vanilla. He's been a rather consistently effective performer off the bench so far for North Carolina.
Absolutely.
And Jeremiah McBride was let loose right there. A complete lapse in the defense. Down low for North Carolina for an easy 2. And Duke Vanilla answers right back again. Goodness. These young North Carolina bigs, they got some potential. And McBride, that is a 3 ball that is off balance and corralled by Teeter. And here's Gus Jackson. The one senior in this official starting lineup, and Vanilla is blocked and denied.
Less than 7 minutes left.
And that somehow bounced its way into the hands of Ian Jackson, and he has yet another easy slam.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a pass right through the middle. It gets deflected by North Carolina, but instead it goes right to the hands and forces 2 more points.
Now Vanilla trying to work his way down low, and he just continues to deliver.
Yeah, Duke Vanilla has been very clutch in the center position so far off the bench.
It's been great to see, and that time Georgetown coughs it up as they tried to force a pass down low into the paint. Now Gus Jackson almost runs out of bounds, but stops himself just in time. They find their way over to Roman. A bullet pass into Teeter with the two-handed jam.
These short, small scoring that North Carolina is doing is just adding up, and it's really forcing Georgetown to keep up with the pace.
And they're definitely doing that in a effective enough way to continue to be able to take the lead and to threaten to take the lead when they do lose it. As Gus Jackson misses right there.
Now, way too many bodies where he was, and especially in the paint, just to get the rebound there. Honestly, I don't agree with the shot selection there. Oh, that was a terrible, terrible pass.
Both of these teams are trying to do a bit too much, and it's become to the point of them being very careless with the ball. And Gus Jackson is called for the charge. Well then.
Know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know. But either way, fresh bodies are being brought into the game for the Tar Heels. Trey Banks is back in, but it's a whole personnel switch. Boyd over to Dominguez as Jalen Archer. Back to Dominguez as he loses the ball.
He got poked out. Good defense by North Carolina, forcing yet another turnover.
Now Samara off the ball. Action right there leads to an illegal screen being called on North Carolina.
Just that very small movement he did was just enough to be called. I mean, he was standing completely... No, wait a minute. It was a reach-in foul.
Oh. Oh. Well then, okay, I'm happy to be wrong then. Okay.
Oh, I thought he was going to get called for the foul because of that small movement before going back in the screen, but no.
Oh! Big three ball right there. Number 11 confirmed for me. I believe that's Jason Hawkins. Yes, Jason Hawkins.
The German.
Yeah, another former five-star recruit that Smith was able to bring in a couple off seasons ago. Oh, that's a pretty jumper right there. Fade away by Dominguez.
We're tied with 4 minutes remaining.
If I'm being honest, both of these teams are around like a 9 to 10 seed range. If we're gonna talk about where you could potentially seed them later on.
Yeah, that's what I said. That if North Carolina is lucky, they're 7 to 8.
Yeah. Oh, Jackson gets fouled right there by Banks, and he's shooting free throws.
Honestly, take these points. These are going to be valuable to you just to have this small little lead. And if North Carolina fails to score on the next possession here, Georgetown may be looking at a run here with a little bit of momentum coming off of this, coming off of these free throws here.
For sure. And actually, when I thought Jalen Archer was number 20, that is my critical mistake right there, as that was Cam Gregory the whole entire time. So I do apologize. I will learn all of these players as we go along this season, and we will not have these kind of issues when March Madness rolls around. But anyways, Georgetown is up by 2 points. Go ahead. What you want to say?
No, I was just saying, yep.
Got you. Gus Jackson taking it himself and one.
I thought the foul on the other side of the court was huge. Well, how about an N1 opportunity here? That's going to separate this game by at least 1 point. And so now it's a game of back and forth if Gus Jackson lands. Or, sorry, that's not good. Is that good? No,
yeah, Gus Jackson. Yeah, you got that right. There's Danny Wolf at the top of the key. What do you want to say?
Well, now it's a 1 point difference between the two, but Again, a 3-ball here would make it an even game, but now it's all about how can Georgetown keep this game in it, or is North Carolina going to build some momentum like that?
A finish. Based on what I saw right there, that was Tyson Armstrong. Another true freshman. And North Carolina really loaded up on the youth. And here's Christian Yevsori. Over to Gregory. Screen set by Wolf. And so tries to work his way into the paint. He draws a contact, and it almost goes down for him. Armstrong called for the foul. And more changes here as Hawkins, Armstrong, and Kastner come off the floor. Gregory now at the free throw line. And he shanks the first free throw. All starters are now back on the court for the Tar Heels, from what it looks like. Yeah. Yes, they are. He at least hits the second free throw. 2.5 minutes to go. A 1-possession difference between these two. As Gus Jackson loads up, a 2-ball does not connect.
Yeah, now the Hoyas has got to do something here to try and tie this game up, or possibly hit a 3 and make it a 1-point differential between the two teams.
Gregory tried to find his way in, but instead he's going to have to kick it out to Wolf. Back in for Ibn Ayo, and he misses that fadeaway 2-ball.
Ooh. Yeah, just too many bodies around him that he just could not get the shot off that he wanted. Instead, he had to be forced to do another shot that made him, I bet you, very uncomfortable to shoot.
Oh, right there, Trey Teeter tried to force a pass over to, it was either Roman or Trey Banks, I'd have to assume. Either way, it did not work out. Rifles it in for Ibn Ayo, and we're tied again with 1.5 minutes left. It's getting tense here, even for a preseason match like this in the Legends Showcase. You still want to start off. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt there, Pardo. I was gonna say, this is a big game for Georgetown. They want to beat a team like North Carolina. North Carolina, though, doesn't want to lose to yet another Big East team. That's why there's a lot of tension, partner.
I don't know if they have necessarily bad luck with Big East teams. I think that might be Michigan we're thinking of. But in regards to this, I think, simply put, Georgetown's just looking for a big win in regards to who they're facing, and they could do it. They have the lead now.
Well, partner, I just want to tell you this right now. The reason why I say that is because the Big East is already 2-0 in the preseason showcase.
Pretty indicative of what they're made of. Roman Zelikov in the corner. 40 seconds left. Roman looking to work. Over to Gus Jackson. Mid-range, off the mark, and rebounded by Wolf.
Shot clock's off.
No, I cannot see Oregon falling out of the top 25. No. Louisville being top 25 all season long, no, Oregon will be top 25 all season long. They're the Pac-12 favorites, so.
Yeah,
either way,
the Pac-12 favorites.
But either way, look at this. North Carolina is trying to get Georgetown to the free throw line.
And now you got to worry about who to put on the free throw line.
McBride will hit the first free throw. Pac-12 isn't bad. It's not one of the 3 best conferences in the country, but they're not bad. And he hits both. North Carolina has got to come up with a plan.
They got to score like almost a 3-point shot here, or at least a 3-point play, and then they have to force a foul on Georgetown just so they can get another possession.
We'll see what this team is made of in a situation like this where this is their first true competitive game against another opponent. Again, despite the preseason setting, this is where you look to see who you can rely upon this season, especially in the early part of your campaign in that first month of November. And especially for a team like North Carolina, remember, even though they've had to completely reload due to last year's team and what they were able to accomplish, they're gonna face Auburn again in the Orange Bowl.
Yep, you're right. You're exactly right.
Time is ticking off the clock here. North Carolina down by 4. They gotta find an open
now.
3. Roman, 3-ball, got it.
Huge.
And now the hope is,
there you go.
And now the hope is you can get McBride to miss at least one of these. That is the hope. And he misses the first one. North Carolina
boy.
with an opportunity to win this game with 9.5 seconds on the clock to work with.
And now things have just gotten interesting. All they need is one score.
And there is a window of opportunity here for these young Tar Heels. Like the situation, we've had the first few games be really good, but let's keep it a stack. None of them have come down to the wire like this. Is here we go. How will North Carolina handle this situation as time is ticking off the clock? Gus Jackson finds Roman. 3-ball, Roman, got it! North Carolina at the buzzer!
Well, how about that? The young man, Roman Zelikoff, with the buzzer beater.
Even in preseason action, that is still a massive moment and a massive result for the Tar Heels.
Clutch situation. And the young freshman delivers.
Calm, cool, and composed in the dying seconds of the game. He made it happen. That's a 5-star talent right there. What a finish. Last second
Absolutely.
winner. How about it? Well. Two unranked teams, yet they have the most exciting finish amongst any of the games that we've had so far. But with that said, we will eventually return for the next game, which is supposed to be preseason number 5, Kansas versus Maryland. And we'll return in about 20 to 25 minutes, so hang tight, guys. We will be back to watch. Let me see, I'm just going to make sure before I say anything. Yeah, we are going to see the first Big 12 team take action in the showcase very soon. Don't go anywhere.